Hi, everybody. Woo! I have never started a speech like this, but I feel compelled to start this way today. I owe you an apology. I say, yeah, you showed up. That's not what I mean, though. I owe you an apology because I've not been able to be as involved in the Pulaski County Democratic Committee as I always have been and wanted to. But that's because I'm doing something else called Get Loud Arkansas. Yeah. Every time I get an email, every time I get something, I thought, oh, once again, I'm not going to be there. But just know, nevertheless, I hope that what I'm doing will serve not only the Democratic Party, but also the Republican Party. We need everybody in on this game. So I hope you will accept my apology. And then I'll go ahead and talk my 20 minutes, all right? So, thank you. Yeah, I will not. That's what they tell me. They tell me I can talk 20 minutes, they're like, nobody's gonna wanna do that. So I'm just letting you know how much my apology is important to me. I won't talk to you for 20 minutes. But I do, of course, as always, have something to say. And I thought about today what I want to talk about. You know how sometimes when you start thinking about what is going on, you start thinking about people and events and all that, and you know, it's almost as if I was doing a roll call in my head. I kept thinking about people who've given so much to make sure we could be here today, to make the promise that we're going to do so much more tomorrow, and keep that promise as they did. I hope they will. So you know, when people, when somebody says to you, maybe I can't do this, I can't do that because I'm on paper. Raise your hand if you know what they mean when they say I'm on paper. If they say, for example, I can't vote because I'm on paper. And what that means is somehow they've had some kind of encounter with the law, served some time, and they use that terminology, I'm on paper, because I've not been able to clear up everything I am assigned to do so that I can exercise my rights. Now, they cannot do certain things because they're on paper. Voting is one of the things they can't do because they're on paper. So they have a good reason when their name is on paper, they can't do something. As we were sitting here today, voting, and knowing there are people who want to do things to be helpful, and we declare these things at certain moments in a fit of, I'm going to do everything right. My challenge to you is think about those people who are on paper, who can't do what they dearly want to do now. And I'm going to ask us not to put our name on paper voluntarily and say we're going to do something and not do it. Because this is where we are. Whether you put your name on paper or you don't, you have these great intentions. But some of the time, we don't get to carrying out those intentions because I was just talking to some friends up here about all the people who are going to come to the convention, you know, with the desire, and that's admirable, to go to the national convention, and it'll be somebody we've never seen before. That's a good thing. But so many times after that, we never see them again. But if they put it on paper, they're going to make a promise to do the right thing. This is where we are. We say, this is the most important election. We say it every time ever. And we say we want to be sure we win and not have to put up with somebody like the current people who are making the news now. But I really do want us to think about some grown-up politics here. Somebody in this room is probably thinking about, for example, voting for a third party. That's your right, you could do that. But remember we did that in 2016, y'all remember that? We did that in 2016. This is not a new idea that you just slept really well after you had, I don't know, my favorite single malt. You got up feeling good and go, I can't vote for these people. I just can't stand it. If that is what you feel, it is okay to feel that way. But remember, if you're sitting in this room and so many other rooms, you have put it on paper of who you're going to support. You have put it on paper, but what you say you believe in. And you have put it on paper that you are not going to be a self-involved person who thinks only about yourself. You really might be okay if we don't do all the things that we need to do to make sure we elect people that we should elect to get what we want out of this election. And that's all the way from the presidency all the way down. And I hope we don't get hung up just about being the presidency, because we have lived this life where, I'll just say, the Republicans thought a few years ago that everybody was going to flock to Arkansas on Super Tuesday just because we decided to change it. We decided to change from May to March. Not happening, is it? They put it on paper, but they didn't think about it. Or their heads were too big to recognize that we are not California, we are not Michigan, we are not whoever. So I still want you to care about all the races, but I don't want you to care about yourself. And I'll just say straight up, adult politics means that we need to be in this for the best of everybody. Not because I have this little streak where I just can't stand this person, and I don't know what information we need more than 2016, when we all exercised our Huckleberry Walk and ended up with something we just thought we weren't going to get. Or maybe some people wanted that. I see us going there. And I ask you, as you are thinking about yourself, think about other people who might be thinking about doing something that's going to be deleterious to all of us. Now, we have to be real adult about this. And I know we can do it, but we're going to have the courage to challenge somebody who is our friend, who's in our families and so forth. But I believe, as I did when I was a kid, I believe we can have better if we just remember this is not a zero-sum game. Do what's good for you and good for other people as well, because that is the sum of all of us. This election is one that can be different because we act differently. People don't elect themselves. That's what I kept saying to some high school students I was talking with just yesterday. Any issue that we have did not put itself on paper. Those bills don't pass themselves. And I always say to young people, and I say it to older people too, I guess, for us just to remember, the person you love the most in politics, the person you detest most, they're all there, and we seem to forget this sometimes, they're all there because of a vote. Take this message to people if you think it's worth their knowing it. Nobody gets to elect themselves. I would imagine some people who just got up here and talked would have been thrilled just to say, I nominate me and that's it, and didn't have to talk to us. But just reminding people of their power, because that's what it is. They get into office by us using our power. And that seems like a redundant thing to be saying.